And we rescue captive adorned large carnivores. So all of the animals that we have here were born in captivity, even though they're bears, lions, tigers, wolves, mountain lions, animals that should never be in such a situation, but they are. So we're down here in our veterinary clinic, and very often our animals arrive and they do need quite a bit of extensive dental work. And that's because canine teeth get broken off, substandard care, they end up getting all kinds of infections up in their mouth and everything. So we have a male tiger here. His name is Fireball. He's about 14 years old. And you can even see as you look at those upper canines, the one nearest the camera, closest to us here, has been broken off or filed down. Probably broken off in this case. However, we do see some tigers and lions that have all of those huge canine teeth filed down almost flat. In which case, if they're all done like that, then it's more than likely, almost for sure, done by a person trying to make the animal so-called safer by filing down their teeth. So we have a great dental team here with us today. It's the Peter Emily International Veterinary Dental Foundation, and all of these veterinary dentists belong to that foundation. And we're lucky in that they live right down the road in Lakewood, Colorado. So the Peter Emily International Veterinary Dental Foundation are some of the foremost dentists for exotic animals in the world. So we have a great relationship with them. They've helped us with lots and lots of our big cats and bears and animals that need special dental care. So what's taking place here, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is that there's a root canal therapy going on, or a root canal procedure. And most people know, just from their human side of things, that a root canal is where you go drill into the tooth and actually clean out the infection that's going on back in the roots and the pulp of the tooth. And then you sterilize that area, and then you fill it up again with obviously something that's very tough and durable that will fill up that space and keep the infection from reoccurring. So this big tiger, he's one of many that we recently rescued in November and December. He's known to have some teeth problems. He's had trouble, like some of them do, with pain, so we've been taking care of that. We've been giving him oral antibiotics, but at some point you just got to go in there and really deal with the problem tooth, or in his case, if they think there might be actually 3 of those canines that need to be worked on. So this tiger, earlier today, he was tranquilized out in his enclosure, and he went out, and then we transported him here to the clinic, and now he's on an anesthesia machine. You can see the monitoring equipment, at least part of it, clipped to his tongue there. And we have a special kind of little stirrup or something that is holding his head up and his mouth open. If you look very closely there, you can see how it loops underneath and behind the canine teeth, and it holds up his mouth in a almost perfect position for the dentist to work at. Obviously, he's under anesthesia, so he's receiving a combination of oxygen and the anesthesia through that tube, that endotracheal tube that's going down down into it. I'm not a veterinarian, but down near his lungs, so that's providing the anesthesia and the oxygen for him as he breathes on his own. So he's not on a ventilator, he's just breathing on his own, but he's breathing in a special mixture of oxygen, ambient air, and anesthesia itself. So we're just getting a kind of a close look there. You can see this tiger, they have to use water to keep the drill tips cool, plus it kind of rinses away the tooth material as they go through. So we're just going to be seeing probably, I'm not sure yet, about 15-20 minutes of this, but when you have 3 or 4 root canals that need to be taken care of, it can go on for 2 or 3 hours. So there's no way we're going to see all of this. So what they're doing now is just trying to access the pulp of the tooth. These giant canine teeth on these large carnivores are absolutely incredible. If you could, and we'll see it I think here, we'll try to zoom in a little bit, they're about almost 3/4 of an inch across where they go into the gum line. So they're very, very, very thick and obviously very strong, and that's what they need as the hunters that they are, so that they can, bite into their prey and grab prey and lift prey up and everything. And the thing about carnivores is those 4 canine teeth, the roots of them will go back a number of inches, way back deep into the jaw. And as a result, these canine teeth are a very integral, essential part of the mouth and jaw of the canine involved, and I mean by animal involved. So it takes a little bit of drilling. That's a lot of heavy, thick tooth to go through to get to the pulp material. And then as they eventually drill through, they start to use these little broach files, is what they're called, broach files. And basically that's a small instrument, you can see it there, that looks like a little rasp, or a little file that is put into the hole that they just drilled. And then they have different sizes, different lengths, that are then used to be pushed back. There you can go. You can see it going up the canine there. So they drilled a hole at the bottom of that canine, and now they're, there's one at the top. So they're using that little broach file to go in there and open up that area and start to extract and remove the pulp. So down on the bottom there, you can see one of the other dentists doing the same thing. He's approaching that lower right canine from the top, and now at the bottom. And from those small drill holes, they'll go in and extract all of the, and then they'll use water under pressure to extract the infected pulp material that's inside that tooth. And like I said, we're probably not going to have time to be able to see how they refill that tooth, but you get a pretty good idea here of what a root canal therapy looks like on a large cat like this tiger. So the Wild Animal Sanctuary, once again, if you're just joining us, is the largest, oldest sanctuary dedicated to rescuing large carnivores in the world. We are located about 35 miles outside of Denver, Colorado. We currently have over 450 animals on 720 acres. So we specialize in rescuing large carnivores, bears, lions, tigers, wolves, mountain lions, foxes, bobcats, lynxes, and basically animals with sharp claws and sharp teeth. And strictly speaking, even though bears are not a carnivore, they're an omnivore, we rescue many bears. We currently have almost 200 bears of various varieties on our property. Obviously most of them are black bears, but we also have grizzly bears, Syrian brown bears, Kodiak grizzlies, Asiatic black bears, and the like. So here we're just watching in very close detail a root canal that's being done on one of our recently rescued tigers. This tiger here is named Fireball. He's about a 14-year-old male, and he showed up, and we knew right away just by the look of his teeth and by how he was behaving that he had an infectious process going on above his gum line back in the roots and the root canal area of those giant teeth. So they're not limited to just fixing canine teeth. There's other molars or incisors there with the big cats like this. And they'll be able to do root canals on them as well. So his condition is being closely monitored by our animal care staff, by one of our veterinarians there. And while he's out, it's a great opportunity, while any of our animals are under anesthesia, it's a great opportunity to get a good close look at them. So the veterinarian there was looking inside of his ears. There's a good chance that he might get his ears cleaned out and everything before he ends up being woken up or allowed to wake up and then turned back out into his enclosure. So we specialize in rescuing large carnivores. The majority of our animals, the big cats especially, the bears, the wolves, they live in large acreage habitats. So most of them live in habitats of anywhere from 5 to 25 acres in large social groups. So when we rescue animals, we don't bring them here to the sanctuary and just keep them in small cages or anything like that. We go through an introduction process where eventually the ones that are able, physically able, will end up in a large acreage habitat. So we're kind of in a small space today. It's not what we typically do when we broadcast on the Dodo live, but we know a lot of people are very interested in some of the veterinary care that's required to keep these animals nice and healthy. So we have 2 veterinary dentists there that are currently working on this tiger. We have another veterinary dentist behind keeping an eye, and then Dr. Peter Emily himself, the dentist who began this foundation a number of years ago, is out of eyeshot at this time. So as we're watching the dentist there, you can see they're doing a couple of things. He has both a drill and a little water sprayer, just like you have at the dentist when you go. And I think they even have compressed air. So they have everything you need. It's a portable dental unit. The Peter Emily International Veterinary Dental Foundation brings everything they need with them as far as the dental side goes. And then, of course, our trained animal care and veterinary staff takes care of tranquilizing, anesthetizing, and monitoring the animal while they're under the effects of anesthesia. So these dentists are some of the best in the world, and we're very fortunate, very blessed to have these veterinary dentists just right here and not too far away down in Lakewood, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver. So if you're joining us, you're here at the Wild Animal Sanctuary outside of Denver, Colorado. It's a sanctuary that rescues captive-born large carnivores, and that's what we specialize in. So we have a very special veterinary clinic here that has been modified to handle animals that weigh 400 or 500 pounds, like this big fella does here. Obviously, you can't just lift them up like a little 10 or 12 pound house cat, so we have a hoist system that enables us to lift these animals up safely and without hurting people and without, obviously hurting the animal. And then once they're up on this hoist system, then we can move it around and put it in a position where various surgical procedures can be done. So once again, we're still seeing the veterinarians kind of using those little devices that are called broach files to kind of clean out those interior cavities, those pulp cavities that are under the effect of an infectious process now. So this tiger is going to feel a whole lot better once he gets out of anesthesia and has a chance to wake up, because all that pressure, the pain associated with having an infection going on will be gone. And his mouth is going to feel so much better, probably better than it has in years. Sadly, this tiger and a number of other tigers that we rescued recently came from a roadside zoo in Oklahoma. And they were used primarily for breeding, to provide tiger cubs to other facilities, and for the facility itself where they were rescued from. So we're really glad to get this tiger out of that situation, as well as all the others that we rescued, and start to get them on their way to a new life where they don't have to worry about mistreatment, abuse, neglect, small cages, concrete, steel bars anymore. Once they get here at the Wild Animal Sanctuary and are settled in, they'll end up in these large acreage habitats that our sanctuary specializes in. So you can see it's a lot of work. Just getting drilled through the teeth initially is a lot of work. And then, because those root structures go back so far, it takes a lot of work to get it cleaned out, get the pulp cleaned out. So here we have two veterinary dentists. Obviously a tiger's mouth and teeth are large enough where you can have enough room for a couple of people to work there. So we have one dentist working on some upper canines. We have another dentist down below starting to open up what looks like one of the lower canines. So this big tiger, as I mentioned before, his name is Fireball. He's a 14-year-old male, and he's going to feel a whole lot better once this procedure is finished. And we're very grateful, as we always are, to the Peter Emily International Veterinary Dental Foundation for coming out and helping us with our animals. We couldn't ask for a better crew to be doing this. They have a number of dentists that travel around the world and work on exotic animals and helping their teeth. But we're also grateful to the Dodo Impact, for letting us air this. So that gentleman back there, that gentleman right there, that's Dr. Peter Emily. Very, very interesting fellow. He's a DDS. He's a doctor of dental surgery. And he started out his life as a people veterinarian, or excuse me, a people dentist, and transitioned to becoming an animal dentist. And he's one of the foremost dental surgeons for animals, exotic animals, in the world today. So he started this foundation, I think it was back in 2005, and has trained many other veterinarians in these very specialized procedures to help these animals. So it's a real pleasure and real honor to have Dr. Emily here, kind of overseeing the work and We always appreciate it when he gets to come up and help us with our animals. So there's not a whole lot new going on as we kind of continue watching these veterinary dentists do their work here. You can see there's a lot of other people here. There's a couple of assistants that are helping. We have another veterinarian who will actually spell one of these other veterinarians if they get a little bit tired or fatigued. As I mentioned before, it can take 2 to 3 hours per tiger to do these root canal therapies. And this is just the first tiger that we plan on doing today. We're looking at doing another root canal on another tiger this afternoon, and the same thing tomorrow. So we have a number of tigers at this point that are needing root canal therapy and some other dental work done. There might be a couple of extractions tomorrow that we'll have to work on as well. So this tiger, he's doing great. Got the monitoring system on him, so we know exactly what his oxygen levels are, we know what his heart rate's like and how his heart's doing and everything. And that's one of the things our veterinary technician and our veterinarians do, is just monitor this animal throughout the procedure, not unlike an anesthesiologist would for people. So we're just going to kind of wrap it up here. If you're joining us a little bit on the late side here, you've been watching or are watching a tiger root canal therapy procedure at the Wild Animal Sanctuary in Keansburg, Colorado. We're located about 35 miles northeast of Denver and are open to the public. We're open 7 days a week. We only close 4 days a year. We open at 9 every morning and close at sunset, currently about 5:30. For more information, you can go to wildanimalsanctuary.org. Our website, once again, is wildanimalsanctuary.org. And there you can find out more about what we do, our mission. We've been at this for 38 years now, actually over 38 years. So we've been rescuing animals for a long time, and we look forward to continuing to rescue them well into the future. So looks like just about, like I said, about ready to wrap it up. We'll just kind of watch for another minute or so here and see if anything else goes on. You can see Dr. Barron here. He's using a little bit of water to rinse some of those upper canines. So now they've really got the teeth opened up, and they're going to continue with the root canal. And we thank everyone, especially the Dodo, for joining us today.